Welcome back to Withy Wendell Wanderings. This is a place for slow steps, old paths, and listening to the land, to history, and to quiet things we usually just pass right by. Every episode is going to be a walk through places shaped by time, memory, and wonder. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get going. Hey, everybody. Before we get started, I just wanted to apologize. The Oakland Cemetery episode will be coming next week. I had to go back and get some additional footage to make sure that I'm showing you guys exactly what I want you to see. This week, instead, we're going to Canton, Georgia, to a place that most locals know by the wrong name. If you've lived anywhere near Cherokee County long enough, you've probably heard someone mention Hell's Church, usually with that tone that suggests you shouldn't be out here after dark. But standing here in the daylight, at the end of this narrow, wooded road, there's nothing theatrical about it. The real name is Hightower Baptist Church. It's a small, country church that has served families in this area for generations, and it is still active today. The rumors, the cult stories, the so-called murders, the late-night piano music grew out of vandalism decades ago and the kind of storytelling that spreads quickly when you mix an old cemetery, a quiet forest, and bored teenagers together. In reality, it feels rural, it feels peaceful, and it feels like a place that has simply outlived several versions of its reputation. And directly behind it begins one of the most underrated trail systems in Cherokee County. We started our hike today on the Green Trail, which is part of the Sutali Trace system here in Canton, Georgia. The word trace is important. Historically, a trace referred to a well-worn path that had been used long before formal roads were built. Many of these roads began as native pathways and were later widened by settlers, traders, and farmers as the region developed. Long before this was Cherokee County, Georgia, this land was part of the homeland of the Cherokee Nation. The nearby Etowah River shaped everything here: settlement, travel routes, farming, and survival. When you look at the terrain of this trail, the ridges, the gradual drops into river bottom sections, you can still see that natural logic at work. The Green Trail runs roughly 2 miles depending on how you connect it, and it rolls gently through mixed hardwood and pine forests without ever feeling punishing. It's steady. It keeps your legs engaged. There are gradual climbs that open into subtle ridgeline views, and then you descend into the flatter, heavier air near the lower sections where the soil feels richer and the woods feel older. What I appreciate most about this trail system is that it doesn't try to impress you with a spectacle. There's no dramatic summit or waterfall waiting at the end. Instead, it gives you layers: filtered light through tall hardwoods, pine needles softening your steps, and stretches of quiet where the only sound is wind moving through the leaves. If you slow down long enough, this land tells a deeper story, not just of trees and rock, but of lives and history that were dramatically reshaped in the 19th century. Before this was Cherokee County, before the church, before the road we drove in on, this land was part of the homeland of the Cherokee Nation. They lived here for generations, moving seasonally across rivers and ridges, hunting, farming, and living in a landscape that they knew intimately. But beginning in the 1820s and 1830s, Georgia passed laws stripping many legal rights from the Cherokee and extending state control over their territory. Even as the Cherokee Nation fought these laws in the U.S. Supreme Court and initially won, the decision was ignored by both the state and the federal government. Then came the land lotteries, including the ones in 1832 and 1833, which redistributed Cherokee land to white settlers in parcels as small as 40 acres. What had once been indigenous territory was divided and claimed by people moving in from elsewhere. By the time the forced removal known as the Trail of Tears began in 1838, much of the land had already been surveyed and redistributed. Indigenous families were removed and their homesteads were replaced with farms, mills, and roads that eventually evolved into the trails we walk on today. All of that, displacement, redistribution, and resettlement, changed this landscape profoundly. The forests you walk now were once fields and homesteads. Old trace roads became paths traveled between communities and churches. You're hiking on land shaped by generations of human stories, both tragic and enduring. Now, instead of horses or carts, it's hikers moving quietly, occasionally passing a deer track pressed into the red clay. The forest has reclaimed most of the urgency, but it hasn't erased history. Much of this area is managed as a wildlife management area, which means hunting is legally permitted on Corps of Engineers managed sections during Georgia's official hunting seasons. This is multi-use land, not hiking-only land, so depending on the time of year, you may not be the only one moving through the woods. Wearing blaze orange and paying attention to posted regulations isn't overcautious. It's responsible. And it's part of respecting how this land is used today. One of my favorite parts of this hike was crossing the old river bottom roads. They're wider than the single-track trail sections and feel like they once carried something that mattered. Wagons, timber, families moving between homesteads and church. These weren't designed as recreational paths. They were functional routes that connected lives. What I love about this trail is that it doesn't try to be flashy. There's no summit demanding a photo. It gives you layers: light, shadow, quiet, subtle shifts in elevation. You notice how the forest softens your steps, how the air smells earthy and alive, and in that quiet, you can feel the land's past still present beneath your feet. The Green Trail and surrounding woods are layered with history, wildlife, and purpose. Indigenous history, settler history, faith communities, conservation, recreation, and regulated hunting all coexist here. Walking this trail gives you a sense of that continuity. You're part of an ongoing story, not just visiting a legend. By the time we finished the loop and walked back towards the church parking area, the sun had shifted higher in the sky. The white building didn't look eerie, it looked steady. The cemetery felt still and respected. The trail isn't haunted. The woods aren't cursed. They're layered, managed, preserved, and still working land. If you come out here, be respectful, pay attention to the season you're hiking in, respect the cemetery, and take your time on the trails, because the real story isn't in the rumors, it's in the ground beneath your feet. And that has always been the part that matters the most. Before we move on through the woods, I want to talk about something that's become a part of the modern story here: ghost hunting videos and YouTube content that sensationalize Hell's Church. Over the years, there have been plenty of videos posted online claiming paranormal encounters, shadowy figures caught on camera, unexplained sounds, eerie voices, and dramatic night investigations that paint this place as some sort of supernatural hotspot. You can find those if you look online. These stories often repeat the same old legend details: piano music, glimpses of figures, eerie presence, all without any documented evidence. But here's the thing: most of that content is created for views. It's designed to be watched and shared, not researched and verified. Sensationalizing a place like this draws attention, sometimes negative attention. And that affects people who live in the area, who care for the church and the cemetery, and who just want to protect a quiet corner of their community from being turned into entertainment fodder. There's a big difference between respectful exploration and turning an active church and the resting places of real people into a backdrop for theatrics. When we're out here walking, we're walking history, not a haunted attraction. This church isn't just a building. It's a place full of history, stories, and sometimes mystery. While some videos online sensationalize ghost tales, the real story is far more meaningful. Appreciate its history, respect the space, and let the past speak for itself. Until next week.
Voice has fallen silent, the echoes remain, words that lit the darkness, a fire in the rain. Though the night feels heavy, the valley is deep, your witness awaken the souls that still seek. We will remember, we will hold the truth. The light you carried still shines in the proof. We are the voices, we are the flame, we are Charlie Kirk, we will bear the name. You pointed to the questions, you pointed to the skies, not knowing the faith you stirred in our lives. The shepherd still leads us, the journey goes on. In Christ we are stronger, in Christ we belong. We will remember, we will hold the truth. The light you carried still shines in the proof. We are the voices, we are the flame, we are Charlie Kirk, we will bear the name. Death is not the ending, it's the door to
Thank you so much for watching and spending part of your time with us today. We really do appreciate you being here and walking these trails with us. If you'd like to support what we're doing, you can buy us a coffee. There's a link in the description below, or watch for the QR code. We hope you'll join us next week for another walk and another story. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you then.